Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and this video is going to be your Raid Shadow Legends wrap-up where we go over the 10x event. It's going to be starting this weekend. We'll let you know exactly what champions are in it and then what I think of them. If you should pull shards, if it makes sense for you, we'll cover the tournaments and events, grade the offers, and get you all caught up on what you need to know heading into the weekend. So let's get into it. Alrighty, and first of all, do not take this video as the 10x event starting. It is not launched yet. You're going to want to wait for the aesthetic on the portal. There is usually something there indicated that it started. And then also, if you click on the eye up here, you will see the champions down here kind of featured in the default summoning chances. It'll show them down below. But then also, when this is going to start, we typically get a pseudo countdown, which in this case is going to be the summon rush. You can see here up at the top, at the time you're recording this, it says starts in 18 hours and 3 minutes. So that's kind of, it's going to act as a countdown for when the 10x is actually going to launch and go live in the portal. But as far as the champions that are featured in the 10x, we've got Jintoro, Tomb Lord, Nekhret the Great, Robar, Deacon Armstrong, Gala Longbraids, Anax, and Whisper. And now we'll just go through them all individually and kind of give you some quick hit thoughts on them. So Jintoro, a new legendary for the Shadowkin, and then we've got an A1, kind of similar mechanic to like a Relic Keeper or a Septimus, going to grant an extra turn if this attack kills an enemy. And you'll see that as a common theme in this 10x. We've got some extra turn mechanics going on as kind of the feature of the 10x event. The A2 is going to be attack one enemy, steal 100% of the target's turn meter, which could be pretty cool in boss fights, faction wars, Fire Knight, things like that. Decrease the cooldown of Oni's Rage by 1 turn. If the target is immune to turn meter effects, which is going to be somewhere like the clan boss, it's going to reduce the cooldown of this ability here to keep that decreased defense and weaken up ridiculously consistent. And then look at this. We'll attack 5 times instead of 1 on every 4th use of the skill against the same target. So designed for a boss fight, clan boss situation, this guy's going to absolutely crank out damage in like a clan boss situation where he can just get so many hits on this Oni's Rage, keep lowering the cooldown, and keep the multiple hits stacking up while also placing crucial debuffs. All turn meter fill effects are increased by 50% when used on this champion, and then the ally attack in all battles by 29%. Now, I'm not going to dive into the full kit of every champion in this 10x because this video will be 30 minutes long, but Jintoro is so new and from a new faction that I wanted to do a quick refresher course on his kit, and he's a pretty solid damage dealer and can be really cranking out a lot in the right situation. Tomb Lord of the Night Revenant is a very, very good champion for faction wars. Night Revenant is one of the hardest faction crypts in the game. Having Tomb Lord helps a lot in finishing that crypt. Other than that, he's decent, but definitely I think his main role in the game is either for like Fire Knight speed runs, placing poisons that are going to get detonated by Xavier or something. And then I think his #1 utility is helping people finish the Night Rev faction wars. Nekhret the Great is also a new legendary to the game, a new Void Lego. Now, one cool kind of fun fact about Nekhret is he's a Void legendary, but he only takes 6 books. You can see here 4, +1 is 5, +1 is 6. The passives don't take any. So now that's the direction we need to go in on these new legendaries. 6 books, so it's a lot more realistic for more players to get them built if they are able to summon him. But he's a Void legendary, really tough to get, but this guy is absolutely insane. There's so many things to go over, so I'm not going to go over the entire kit, but he places 1 debuff, which is decreased attack, and it can't be resisted, so you don't need to build any accuracy on this guy. What that means is you can build him insanely sturdy, lots of HP, lots of resistance, and he just does an insane job of completely carrying your team. He is super popular in the arena and an absolutely amazing progression champion as well. So Nekhret, definitely an amazing Void Lego that I'm sure a lot of people are going to be coveting and going for. Robar of the Orcs, I would say the calling card of Robar is going to be this Merciless Assault. Attack all enemies, damage increases if the target is under sleep, stun, or freeze debuff. So if you get proper setup on this guy, he can really crank out the damage. The base speed of 87 is a little bit low because he's going to grant an extra turn if the A1 stun is placed, so he can kind of snowball through his abilities a little bit faster than normal. So the game makes up for it by giving him a little bit lower base speed than you would expect. Then we move into the epic champions that are featured in this 10x, and we're going to start with Deacon Armstrong, another new champion who is absolutely bonkers as an epic. So the main thing that makes him insane is this A3. Fill the turn meter of all allies by 15% and decrease the turn meter of all enemies by 15%. Kind of like a budget Lysandra ability there. It doesn't place the speed, but it's going to grant an extra turn. So he just kind of does this for free and then takes a turn after it, and it's on a 3-turn cooldown. He's got the speed aura. He's got the A2 that is AoE defense break. The A1 that's going to place a leech, which will help your whole team heal. I mean, this guy is absolutely crazy. He's an amazing epic to get if you're progressing your account. He's going to be amazing in Faction Wars and help you in so many different areas of the game. Gala Longbraids of the Dwarves is kind of similar to Tomb Lord. She's a pretty decent champion on paper, a pretty decent damage dealer, but I would say her main utility is just kind of helping you progress in the Dwarf Faction Wars. She can do some cool things. She's got some multi-hitting capabilities for Fire Knight progression and can kind of do some self-sustain, self-shield, but I would say the main point of Gala is to help out with the Dwarf Faction Grip. Anax is a new champion coming to the Undead Hordes, and he places a lot of debuffs. He's got an A1 that places the defense break. The A2 is going to lower accuracy and place a poison. The A3 is going to place a weaken. And then he's got, you can see there at the bottom, the active effect, grant an extra turn if the champion's HP drops below 10%. So he's got a lot of things going on, does a lot of cool different things. So he's a pretty decent epic on paper. I haven't gotten a chance to test him a whole lot. He's a new epic that I haven't played around with, but definitely places a lot of debuffs that can be fun if you get him in the right situation to take advantage of all of the things that he brings to the table, especially for like a boss fight or something. Not a whole lot of AoE here, but some single target priority debuffing. Now, Whisper for the Night Revs, for some of you OGs out there, back in the day, Raid did a partnership with Amazon, and there was a little cross promotion type thing. Whisper was a part of that release to the game, coinciding with the Raid and Amazon little sponsorship partnership type thing. Now she has a pretty cool kit on paper for dealing damage in a clan boss scenario, where she can grant extra turns based on crits, and then gets increased damage against bosses. She's gonna increase her own attacks. You don't have to bring that, ignoring some defense. And then she also is going to get extra turn if defense down and weaken her place, which is very common in a boss fight. So she can do some cool things and crank out some damage. She never really came to fruition and ended up being like a really good champion or anything, but technically on paper she can crank out damage if you really set her up. So again, to wrap up the 10x, it is going to be Jintoro, Tomb Lord, Nekhret the Great, Robar, Deacon, Gala, Anax, and Whisper. So technically it's a pretty good 10x. Now, we've had a lot of things going on in Raid, a lot of just constant dumping of our resources, clan versus clan, the Brogni fusion, just so many things going on that are kind of new to the game, where people are constantly having to pull shards. We've got the 2x events going on. We had a crazy 10x last time. So a lot of people are kind of worn thin on their resources. So I anticipate a lot of people going for Nekhret, though. Nekhret is a very good new Void Legendary who's very popular. So I do anticipate a lot of people wanting him, and a lot of your higher spenders in the game are probably going to be purchasing Void offers, trying to line up their mystery system, and really go for a 10x event like this. I know, like Jay Giggs was telling me he's got a bunch of Voids saved up, and he's going to be YOLOing it for Nekhret. So I do think that's going to be kind of the main selling point of the 10x is a lot of your people that are end game and have resources saved up, or a lot of your high spenders really going for Nekhret. Now, for most of you out there that have normal budgets, or maybe are early to mid game, it's not a bad idea to pull some shards and maybe go for Deacon. I think that's the most realistic, impactful acquisition here, to use these 10x's as like an epic acquisition event, because like even if you have a bunch of void shards, the odds of getting Nekhret, you're kind of wishing upon a star. So I usually recommend that people save for 2x's or save for different opportunities than a 10x, but for the higher spenders or people with a bunch of resources, it may make sense to go for Nekhret. You just got to keep your expectations realistic, because even if you pull a bunch, it is still really low that you're going to be super excited just by the way that it works, because you're still only 0.5% for every void shard. So you can very easily pull 100 void shards and get no legendary, like very easily. So and then even if you do get a legendary, you have to go through all the RNG of hitting that 10x for like the Nekhret that you're looking for. So tamper your expectations, and my general recommendation for the vast majority of you is probably to hold off on this, even though it's got some pretty cool champions in it. But now, as we dive into the tournaments and events, you can see here we've got the Ice Golem tournament ending today. You're gonna want to make sure you scoop up the fusion fragments on the right side. There's 20 up for grabs, so definitely pay attention to that right side of the Ice Golem tournament today and scoop up those fragments for the Brogni fusion. Then we're gonna have another classic arena takedown, so maybe save up some of those refreshes and get ready to go after the fragments on the right side for the Brogni fusion. Then under events, remember we've got that Summon Rush starting tomorrow, and that acts as a pseudo countdown for when that 10x is probably going to launch. They're usually within like an hour, or they're even just dead on the same of when the Summon Rush countdown finishes and the 10x event is actually going to launch and go live in the portal. But you do want to confirm that and wait until you see them featured in the portal. Now, the artifact enhancement is live. You're going to want to make sure you're down here to 3,300 points. Going after the champion fragments, there's 25 up for grabs down here. So similar to the golem, you've got about a day and a half on those respectively. So make sure you're paying attention to those fragments. And then the champion training event. I know this was a super famous event where people are very upset about it. You can see here I worked really hard and got to the 12,750 and then kind of stopped because we're going to have another one coming up here a little bit later down the road. I can actually pull up the calendar and let you know exactly. So yeah, here we go. You can see down there under tournaments, and then we slide over, what is that, the 25th? Yeah, the 25th. So here in about 3 days, we're going to have another champion training tournament going live. So you want to be careful kind of going past this 12,750. I know it is enticing to go after the Void Shard and the Legendary Skill Tome, but it takes a lot of points to get there, 17,850, and we got another one, or another opportunity where you're going to want to be doing some champion training for fragments here in a couple of days. So I know it's tough. Be careful. Do the best you can. If you're going for the fragments, I would say that these are going to be the toughest parts of it, just training so many champions and going after so many points, and then having to do it again in a couple of days. So pay attention, do your best, and good luck. But now let's head on into the shop and see if there's anything worth kind of plugging in here. All right, so we've got the Doom Tower kit, and I guess I might as well put the sheet up here so you can follow along. There we go. All right, so $20, and we're going to have 2 epic, 2 legendary, 2 5-star chicken, 1 million silver, 200 gems. Okay, and boom, 2.11. So it's a little bit overpriced. This is going to be a pass for me. It's not quite good enough. You're not really getting, I mean, 2 and 2. Some of these champions take 15 books. Yeah, not enough. I think you'd be better off kind of holding off for something else. The pack string on the silver. Now, I have not bought all 3 of these. Sorry, I know what the offer sheet is kind of, but yeah, it's a 3-piece thing here. I'll plug in the first one here just so we can see how it gets started, but not anticipating this to be super amazing. 5 million. And then 150 gems, and then I'll pull this up. Yeah, so it starts out at a 1.15, so that's not going to be a path I'm interested in really going down. The monthly pack is a pretty good one. You've got a week left to decide on that. It grades out to about a 2.5, 2.6. More speed gear coming through, so jump in there if you're a high spender and get your speed gear. But this one here, it's 5-star gear and it's $20. I would hold off for a better one, even if you're in the market for speed gear. I would probably prioritize the 6-star epic offer instead of the 5-star legendary one. And then this one here, 13 minutes. Will this even be there by the time I get this video out? Probably not, but just in case you were curious how this one graded out, let's go ahead and plug it in. We've got 5.5, and boom, and then energy of 4,000. I think I remember this one not being great. Gems of 1,000. Boom. Yeah, 1.9. So again, a little bit overpriced, but technically decent, and gives you a good like variety of resources here that are pretty generally useful for your account, but something I would pass on. But alrighty, that's gonna do it for this one. And then as always for my raid wrap-up kind of community update videos, if you look down below in a pinned comment, there will be a link to my stream. I will be live for a few hours after the release of this video if you would like to come hang out and just kind of talk about some of this stuff going on in game and play some raid together. But yeah, just in conclusion here, the 10x again is going to be Jintoro, Tomb Lord, Nekhret, Robar, Deacon, Gala, Anax, Whisper, and it will start pretty much coinciding with when this clock for the Summon Rush winds down. So as always, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.